Last week, I was running a leadership workshop in Warsaw. I had an absolutely fantastic time. And whilst there, we had just the best conversation about quiet quitting. And it really got me thinking about the many other managers and leaders out there wrestling with what to do about it. So I thought it may be of value to share some of the tips and strategies we discussed because, let's face it, this is a management issue to deal with. And for many managers, it is a daunting task. So I'm going to share what quiet quitting is and how to respond to it. In particular, I'm going to share 5 key activities that if you put into the way in which you manage and lead your team, it will prevent quiet quitting from brewing within your team. My name is Helen Bryant. I am a trainer and a coach, and I am on a mission to help managers everywhere lead better, thrive in their roles, and help build a better workplace for all. So quiet quitting, it is everywhere right now. It is a much used and hyped phrase. It's in the media, it's all over social media. But it seems to mean different things to different people. Now, a quick search through both TikTok and LinkedIn will find a very lively debate about what it is, how to respond to it, and even how to do it. It's also got enmeshed in the generational battles about what people are prepared to do or were prepared to do in the past and how that became the norm of performance, a kind of going above and beyond that is part of the standard way of working. And this is just not accepted in the same way now. And that in turn seems to get wrapped in a misunderstanding and stereotypes of the different generations, which I think is really unhelpful in resolving the underlying issues at play here. So what does quiet quitting really mean? If you were to believe the stereotypes, quiet quitting is about doing the absolute minimum amount of work you can get away with. Don't get me wrong, there are some people out there doing this and finding ways to game the system and do as little as possible and not get found out. And you can search how-to videos and blogs on how to do it so that your manager won't know. But to be honest, it was always thus. Way back in my time when in a corporate world where we were all working in the office together, there were always people who made an art form of avoiding doing the work. They were always missing from the desks, or they were in the coffee area having a chat, or having a slightly extended lunch, or having a crafty search on Google for a bit of shopping or news, and quickly swapping it off when someone came near. The difference now is that we are all working remotely so much more, and there is less chance of getting caught, hence the advent of surveillance technology, which is, I think, sad. But I also think it makes it slightly more difficult to address it when it arrives. So my view is that very few people are this active in their quiet quitting. Yeah, there may be some, but good management and leadership can address this issue quickly. But for most, quiet quitting is not quitting at all. It's doing your job, working your contracted hours, doing what is asked of you, and no more, unless you're rewarded for the extras. For many, this isn't about quitting work, it's about work-life balance. Many people had this spotlight turned on as a result of COVID, where the level of disruption had many questioning the status quo and recognising the level of above and beyond that they were absorbing, and also the extra stress that often gave them. Now, the problem for many organisations and their leadership is that the work delivery often depends on people going above and beyond as standard. It is baked into the business model and often can, I think, cover up poor processes, a lack of prioritisation, and poor management and leadership. So the quiet part of quiet quitting, I think, reflects the fear of both managers and employees to talk openly about what is going on. And this lack of transparency, I think, exacerbates the situation and can often make it feel much more like a battle than people trying to find the best way to work together. And thus it falls to many middle managers to address the issue, to find a way to get the most out of their team whilst respecting the wants and needs of their team. And for many managers, they often end up being the person who's absorbing even further stress between their team and the demands from above, which is so hard. So what to do about it? So here are 5 things every manager can do to stop quiet quitting from affecting their team performance. Okay, number 1, have regular one-to-ones. One-to-ones are the heartbeat of how you work with your team. They're opportunities to get to know each other and, importantly, build trust. Moments of open discussion. Now, one-to-ones should be happening, I would say, every week or at least every other week, because so much can happen beyond that amount of time. And if you have that frequency of one-to-one, if somebody is not performing as they had been in the past, any manager is going to pick it up. Now, a good one-to-one gives alignment between you and your team member. It aligns what they're focusing on right now, what are the important things they're working on. It makes sure your priorities are aligned, that they are working on the high-value work that you want them to work on. There are opportunities for development, to engage your team in their own personal development and find opportunities to help them get better at their job and, more importantly, achieve their career aspirations. And there are also moments of feedback, both ways, both for you and for them. And if you can make those moments as open and collaborative as you possibly can, you're just going to be in a much stronger place to know what your team members think about anything. You're going to know if someone is taking longer than you would think to do the work, and then you can find out why. Is it skill? They don't know how to do the work in a more effective way, or is it will? Their motivation has slipped, or maybe they're very stressed and they're just not delivering in the way that maybe they have done in the past. I've already created lots of resources to help you optimize your one-to-ones. They're all linked below. And if your one-to-ones are not quite what you would like them to be, this is definitely the first thing I would do if I were in your shoes to build the relationship with your direct reports. The second thing that you need to do is bring clarity in what you're asking to be done. So you make clear your expectations. And that is understood between you and each individual team member. So this starts with your objectives and what you are asking people to do. And it shows up in the delegation that you are really clear on what it is that you want to achieve. Now, importantly here, this needs to be focused on the outcomes that you want. You need to describe what a good job done is. And the more you focus on the outcomes and you get a common view of that, it becomes much clearer to assess whether that person in your team has delivered that to the standard that you laid out in your expectations. So it's really important. And often I see when I am coaching people, actually they have a lot of objectives and delegation, which is much more a more vague goal and a lot of emphasis on how they want it done. The emphasis should really be on what it is that you want done. There's a second thing that you need to have clarity on and have conversations between you, which is how you work together, both in how you work as a team and how work gets done, but also being clear on what the expectations are. So what are the contracted hours and the policies, and how would that manifest itself for this person? So for example, I used to have somebody who worked in my team who had a baby during the time they were working for me. And before they used to always be working longer hours. But once they had their baby, they were absolutely clear to the point of they used to come in dead on 9:15 and they used to leave dead on 4:30 every day. I never had any issue whatsoever with the quality of work. She used to amaze me. She was like a human machine in those hours and engaged with us. But at that moment, she just, at 4:30, would leave. And fantastic. As a manager, you should have no issue on that whatsoever. If the quality of work in the contracted hours is what you want, then there is no issue. That is getting done within those time. But you need to be clear on both, therefore, what it is you want done, and then secondly, what is the expectations about work, and that you are aligned on this so the person doesn't feel that they need to hide or be surreptitious about what they're doing. The more open you can be and the more trust there is between you, the easier it is. The third thing that makes a big difference, I think, is bringing transparency to work. So way too much work happens in email, which is just not a collaborative tool. Everything just gets lost in there, doesn't it? It just, email trails go all over. But also really leveraging tools like Teams or Slack and project tools like Microsoft Project or Asana or Trello. So workflow that is made transparent has the benefit that there's clarity both in what is happening, but also the interdependencies between people, so that if that starts to fail in any way, the issues become very clear very quickly. And I think it makes such a difference to the way in which we work. And the more you accept the more opaque ways of working, the harder you're making it to understand what people are doing and how they're doing. You don't need to know everything, but it gives you a framework and a way of just seeing what's going on. Even better is to actually document what your standard operating procedures are. Not necessarily for everything, but for the core processes. A real 80-20. What are the 20% of processes that actually are 80% of your work? Get those documented, and what that means is that it will be clear what or how the work works, where the interdependencies are. It's also brilliant for onboarding because you can say this is how it works and people have tools. Checklists are brilliant to use in this situation as well. So the fourth thing to do as a manager is recognize where your blockages are in how you and your team are working, and then work to fix them. Now, some of these aren't quick, but they make a big difference, say over a quarter or a 6-month period, that you can massively improve that work and you're more likely to keep your team engaged. They will work better. But the longer those blockages sit there, for anybody whose motivation is getting a bit lower, it's easy to go, oh, it's just not working, so I'm not putting in the effort. So you've got to get those workflows working and remove the blockages that may be holding your team back. And the fifth thing to do that I think makes a massive difference is to help them deliver on their personal development. So key to this is knowing what their goals are. I recently posted a video, I'll link it here, on career conversations, something that's so important for you to have with your team so that you know what their goals and aspirations are, and that can help you then bring that down into a tangible, aligned development plan so that when you're working, you can look for moments to delegate work which deliver against their development. The more you are the manager who helps them achieve their career development, the more you will find people will remain engaged with you, work hard, and quiet quitting will not become the thing they are looking to do because they'll be happy engaged with their work, even if they're working within their contracted hours. So there you go. 5 activities that I think make the biggest difference. Have your one-to-ones, have absolute clarity about what you're asking people to do and how you are working together. Thirdly, bring transparency to your work. Leverage digital tools to keep work transparent between both you and your team, but your team and each other to improve collaboration. 4, identify and fix any blockages that may be stopping your team do their best work. And 5, help your team deliver on their personal development. Those 5 alone, having the systems in the way in which you work to make those things happen, can make such an enormous difference, not only to the quality of work that your team delivers, but also the control you feel as a manager and leader. You will automatically start to find that you get better performance and you won't be worrying that, what are my team doing? Are they thinking of leaving or are they just hiding away? Now, if you have any questions about putting this into practice, you can put them down below and I will be happy to help. Or you can reach out to me on social if you want to DM me and I will respond that way. Yeah, and let me know in the comments, how do you find quiet quitting is affecting you in your job? If you found this useful, please subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified of each and every video that I release. I really appreciate the likes and the subscribes because it helps other managers like you find this channel, and I really appreciate your help in building up this community of managers and leaders. Okay, that's it. Until next time, I'll see you then. Take care.